Welcome back to our series on the Dance of the Dragons, the infamous Targaryen civil war as described in the books Fire and Blood and the World of Ice and Fire. In Part 6, we dive into the escalating conflict as Ser Criston Cole takes decisive action and the battle lines shift dramatically. With the worsening situation, Ser Criston Cole believed quick and decisive actions were paramount. Criston acted by marching a host on the Crown lands, first adding the strength of Rosby and Stokeworth, whose lords had recently submitted to the king to prove their loyalty to the Greens. He then moved on to Duskendale and sacked the town, having Lord Gunther Darkland beheaded for supporting Rhaenyra. Criston next turned his attention to Rook's Rest, where House Staunton had pledged their support to Rhaenyra. Lord Staunton defied his attackers and dispatched a raven to Dragonstone. Princess Rhaenys arrived on her dragon Meleys, but Criston's men attacked the dragon with scorpions, longbows, and crossbows. When Sunfire and Vhagar also appeared, the dragons fought 1,000 feet above the ground. Meleys' jaws closed around Sunfire's neck, and Vhagar fell upon them, causing all three dragons to crash. From the ashes, only Vhagar rose again. Sunfire had one wing half torn from his body, while his rider, King Aegon, suffered several broken bones and severe burns. Rhaenys was found completely burned next to Meleys. After the battle, Prince Aemond and Criston took Rook's Rest and put the garrison to death. The head of Meleys was brought back to King's Landing, inspiring fear amongst the small folk, and causing thousands to flee the capital until the gates were barred by Dowager Queen Alicent. Aegon was brought back to King's Landing, where maesters attended his severe wounds while he slept under the influence of milk of the poppy. Sunfire was too large to be moved and was unable to fly. The dragon remained at Rook's Rest, where guards were posted to keep him safe and fed. With Aegon unable to rule, Aemond assumed the style of protector of the realm. Lord Corlys Velaryon, upon learning of the death of his wife Rhaenys, threatened to leave Rhaenyra's cause until Prince Jacaerys named him Hand of the Queen. They sent Prince Joffrey to the Vale of Arryn with Lady Rhaena and 3 dragon eggs, and Joffrey's dragon Tyraxes. Prince Aegon the Younger and Prince Viserys were sent to Pentos on the Gay Abandon to be fostered with the Prince of Pentos, a friend of Daemon's, until Rhaenyra had secured the Iron Throne. Jacaerys wanted to attack the capital with as many dragons as possible. With 6 riderless dragons present on Dragonstone, Jacaerys called out to Dragonseeds, who were bastards of Valyrian descent from the Blackwater Bay area, promising knighthood and wealth to anyone who could master a dragon. Many were injured or died, including Lord Commander Steffon Darkland, but 4 eventually succeeded. Vermithor was claimed by Hugh Hammer, Silverwing by Ulf the White, Seasmoke by Adam of Hull, and Sheepstealer by a girl named Nettles. Corlys asked Rhaenyra to remove the taint of bastardy from Adam and his brother Alan, making them true Velaryons. He named Adam heir to Driftmark, as all his legitimate children were dead. House Velaryon had blockaded the Gullet and controlled access to the Blackwater Bay at the start of the Civil War. After the assault on Harrenhal by Prince Daemon and further blows to the Greens, Sir Otto Hightower, the Hand of the King to Aegon, hatched a plan to break the Velaryon fleet's blockade. Otto reached out across the Narrow Sea to enemies of Prince Daemon, the Triarchy, hoping to persuade them to move against the Sea Snake, Lord Corlys Velaryon. The High Council of the Triarchy accepted his offer of alliance in Tyrosh. 90 warships, commanded by Admiral Sharako Lohar of Lys, swept from the Sepstones under the banners of the 3 daughters, bending their oars for the Gullet. Meanwhile, on Dragonstone, it was decided by Prince Jacaerys that his half-brothers, Aegon and Viserys, would be fostered with the Prince of Pentos until their mother, Queen Rhaenyra, had secured the Iron Throne. The princes departed on the Pentoshi Cog, the Gay Abandon, towards the end of 129 AC. The Sea Snake sent 7 of his warships with them as an escort. The Gay Abandon encountered the Triarchy's fleet, which had sailed up to the Gullet. The Gay Abandon was taken captive and her escorts were sunk or captured. Aegon was able to escape the Gay Abandon on his young dragon, Stormcloud. Sailors attempted to bring him down, and Stormcloud was wounded by arrows and scorpion bolts. Nevertheless, they flew to Dragonstone, where Aegon delivered the news of the threat from the east. Stormcloud died at Dragonstone from his wounds. Viserys, however, was possessed only of a dragon egg and had no way of escaping from the cog. He was made a captive by a Tyroshi captain. Sharako Lohar divided the Triarchy ships into 2 squadrons, entering the Gullet to the north and south of Dragonstone. They attacked at sunrise, surprising House Velaryon's fleet. Flying on Vermax to meet the fleet, Prince Jacaerys engaged a line of Lyseni galleys. Despite their experience fighting Prince Daemon and his dragon Caraxes, the line of warships from the Free Cities shattered as one galley after another turned away. However, Vermax flew too low and crashed into the sea, possibly wounded by a crossbow bolt or pulled down by a grapple. Survivors said he struggled in the rigging of a burning galley and sank with it. Jacaerys was able to leap free, but then was killed by Myrish crossbowmen. The battle continued into nighttime with the southern squadron attacking Driftmark, setting afire the harbor of Spicetown. The town was sacked and the Valyrian treasures were burned. Thousands died from the battle and Spicetown was never rebuilt. The Valyrian fleet lost almost a third of its strength. Prince Jacaerys Velaryon and his dragon Vermax were killed, and Prince Viserys was taken captive, presumed dead by both sides. Prince Aegon the Younger never forgave himself for abandoning his little brother. According to Mushroom, Hugh the Hammer and Ulf the White celebrated their participation while Nettles and Adam Velaryon were heavily affected. The battle left many on Dragonstone resenting Queen Rhaenyra for the kin that they lost. Only 28 of the 90 warships commanded by Sharako Lohar returned home, and only 3 were not crewed by Lysini. The Gullet was considered a disaster by the Triarchy. The Myrish and Tyroshi widows accused Sharako of sending their fleets to destruction while holding back his own Lysini ships, leading to the Daughters' War. The disaster at the Gullet would also mark the end of the Triarchy's involvement in the Dance of the Dragons. This marks the end of part 6 in our series about the Dance of the Dragons. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next part.